After my family went bankrupt, I took my childhood engagement contract and headed to the city to find the Crown Prince of New York's high society. Nana told me, they're a good family. Even if they don't honor the engagement, they won't treat you poorly. Things went smoothly. The prince fell for me at first sight. But on the very day I found out I was pregnant, I was cornered by another man. He looked furious. You have a childhood engagement with me, so why are you messing around with him? What? Did I get the wrong guy? Clutching my flat stomach, I was dumbfounded. My family went bust, and I was being harassed by local thugs. So, I packed my bags and headed to New York to cash in on my childhood marriage pact. Fresh out of the airport, I spotted my fiancé. He was even more striking in person than in the photo, like 4K definition handsome. Nana said his family had money and power, that he could definitely keep me safe. I thought to myself, isn't this what they call the crown prince of the city? Before I came, I swore I'd lock this guy down. I did my makeup in that clean girl aesthetic and put on a little white dress. Rumor has it this is the combo that hooks these rich heirs the hardest. After watching him reject the third girl asking for his number, I took a deep breath, walked up stiffly, and tapped him on the shoulder. Been waiting long? Let's go. Seeing he was meeting someone, the girls around us scattered, looking embarrassed. The prince's casual gaze swept over to me and suddenly paused. He stood up straight, cleared his throat, and asked in a low voice, Miss Ford? Even his voice sounded expensive. I was satisfied. I reached out my hand. That's me. Hello, Lucian. A smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. He grabbed my hand and started leading me out. I actually just wanted a handshake. My cheeks burned. I was shy, but mostly thrilled. Before coming here, I was worried he'd look down on this arranged marriage. After all, childhood pacts are kind of an archaic relic. Plus, my family's fall from grace made the gap between us even wider. Nana was right, his family really were good people. The hand holding mine was warm. It seemed I'd made a good first impression. Once I was in the passenger seat, I decided to strike while the iron was hot and get cozy. Do you remember us playing together when we were kids? Actually, I only had a vague memory of that meeting. I never expected that the delicate little boy from back then would grow up to be so aggressively handsome. He raised an eyebrow. We met as kids. You played at your house, and I played at mine, right? Looks like he forgot too. I smiled and changed the subject. Where are we going? He tilted his head to ask my opinion. Should we go to the estate to see my grandparents first? I hesitated. My outfit today was designed to slay a rich heir, not necessarily to impress elders. Elders usually prefer girls who look bold and dignified. Seeing I didn't respond, Lucian corrected himself. Actually, you must be tired from the flight. I'll take you to eat first, and we can see my grandparents another day. He was so considerate. I looked at him gratefully. Whatever you say. Since my family's troubles began, I'd run into a lot of bad luck. But now, the tides were turning. My fiancé was truly a great guy. Lucian said he was taking me to dinner. When we walked in, I was startled by a table full of people. He lowered his head and whispered soothingly, "Don't be mad. I just wanted to introduce you to my friends." Once the shock wore off, I felt touched. Not only did he not hide me away, but he also valued me enough to show me off. I almost started crying happy tears. His buddies were super supportive, practically cheering. Holy crap, the girl Lucian's family arranged looks like an angel. Does the sister-in-law have any look-alike sisters? Please, introduce me to one. After everyone was seated, there were still 2 empty spots. Finally, the last person arrived, late. Someone complained, "Lucien, if you're going to be late next time, just don't come." Lucien? Shocked, I looked at the handsome guy holding my hand. He seemed used to this reaction and explained in my ear, "Distant cousin. Our names are homophones, Lucian and Lucien." Seeing there was still an empty seat next to the newcomer, I couldn't help but ask, "Is someone else coming?" Lucien's face went stiff. The people around us started jeering. "Yeah, Lucien, didn't your family set you up with someone too? Why didn't you bring her? Maybe she's as pretty as Lucien's girl." Lucien stared at me, his look somewhere between covetous and jealous. It made me extremely uncomfortable. He sneered, "They dug up some village girl from God knows where. I already told you guys not to save a seat for her." It seemed this distant cousin also had a match with a family background that didn't measure up. Same situation as Lucien, but the difference in character was night and day. I hid a look of disdain. I didn't know why this guy had to have a name that sounded just like Lucien's. What a bad omen. During the second half of the meal, the Lucien across from us kept staring at me gloomily. It gave me the creeps. It was our first time meeting. I hadn't offended him, had I? Lucien noticed it too. Frowning, he called him outside. While they were gone, the guy who had complained earlier whispered to me, "Sister-in-law, just ignore that kid. He's been like this since we were little." Because their names sound the same, he likes to compare everything with Lucien. If it weren't for his dad being powerful and the years of friendship he has with Lucien, I'd have had someone deal with him a long time ago. No wonder this guy seemed so out of place among Lucien's tight-knit group of friends. But the fact that he was still invited meant he was someone I couldn't afford to offend. I decided I'd just avoid him in the future. I wasn't naive enough to think Lucien would beat him up for me. He probably just gave him a polite talking to. After all, Lucien and I had just met, while Lucien was his brother of many years. So, when Lucien walked back in with a bruise on his jaw, I was startled. The talk went south. Before leaving, Lucien lowered his head and meekly called out to me, "Goodbye, sister-in-law." I nodded at him unnaturally. Lucien gently put his arm around me, his tone incredibly soft. "Don't worry. He wouldn't dare try anything. Seems this fragile little white flower outfit really worked." Lucien was treating me like fine china. I decided to commit to the bit. I tentatively leaned into his embrace. "Lucien, why are you so good to me? Are there really men this responsible in this day and age? Just a verbal engagement, and he treasured me this much?" Lucien froze. Even though he looked like an arrogant bad boy, the way he hugged me back was careful, and his tone was clumsy but sincere. "You might not believe this, but I think I fell in love with you at first sight. Could such a good thing really happen? I'd sooner believe I could become the world's richest person than believe a Wall Street prince was a pure-hearted lover boy." To be fair, he was so handsome, and even I hadn't fallen in love at first sight. But I didn't care if I was the first or the 50th girl he'd fallen for. I just needed to know he was interested. So I softened my voice and responded gently, "What a coincidence." "Me too." On the way home, Lucien was beaming. Carrying my luggage, he led me into a villa. "This is where I usually stay. I don't like being disturbed, so people only come to cook and clean during the day. So, at night, it's just the two of us." Was that his plan? I lowered my eyes, hiding the resistance in my gaze. But unexpectedly, he just took me to a guest room that had already been prepared. Before leaving, he added me on WeChat and earnestly saved my contact as Babe. I stood in the empty villa, stunned for a good while. No way. Did I actually meet a pure-hearted billionaire heir? I remained skeptical, but a warm current undeniably flowed through my heart. Over the next few days, Lucien took me all over the city. I got more familiar with his friends, too. After fishing for info, I discovered Lucien actually hadn't had a girlfriend before. He's in his 20s and hasn't dated anyone. The family was starting to question which team he played for. Lucien's friend said, looking aggrieved on his behalf. "So the family introduced you, sister-in-law. Who knew you and Lucien would be a match made in heaven? I've never seen him treat a girl this well." I suddenly hallucinated a classic Butler line, "The young master hasn't smiled like this in years." Since that trope usually means high reliability, I finally relaxed. In the next couple of days, we should go visit his grandparents. It would be good to lock things down early. Just as I was about to bring this up to Lucian, he took a call. Yeah, she's right here with me. I don't know what the other side said, but Lucian's face suddenly turned incredibly ugly. After hanging up, he took a moment, then suddenly asked, "Babe, how did you recognize me instantly at the airport that day?" Was the prince feeling insecure about his looks? How could I mistake a face like that? I pulled out the photo Nana sent me. Because you look exactly like the photo. If anything, the real version was more impactful. I could never forget that day. Nana took out her reading glasses, tapped on the photo, and held it up to my eyes. The blurry quality couldn't hide his god-tier looks. Among a crowd of young people, just his side profile made everyone else look dull. I made up my mind right then to attack the city. Rich, powerful, and handsome, I wasn't going to let this prince slip away. Unexpectedly, seeing the photo, Lucian's expression got weird. He kept his cool. "Babe, can you send me your birth details?" Nana said she wants to check our astrological compatibility. I didn't think much of it and sent it straight over. The first two words that caught Lucian's eye were, Harper Ford. Not Harper Ward. On the way back, Lucian was a bit distracted. I asked him when we were going to visit his grandparents. He was silent for a long while before replying, "No rush." Back at the villa, for the first time, he didn't leave immediately. I suddenly got nervous. After days of build-up, could he not hold back anymore? Lucian held my hand tightly, looking conflicted. "Babe, can you tell me about what happened to you before?" If he had asked when I first arrived, I wouldn't have wanted to say much. But after spending these days together, I felt he was a good man and wouldn't see me as baggage. I tried to describe my ordeal in a calm tone. I glossed over the hardships of living with Nana after the bankruptcy. But when I mentioned being harassed by that local thug, my voice still trembled slightly. I really didn't want to recall that disgusting face, but I had to tell him. I not only told him the story but gave him the name, address, and connections of the guy. Nana was still back in our hometown. Once that guy realized I wasn't coming back, he would definitely go crazy. Sure enough, after listening to me, Lucian's eyes held not only heartache but also a rage clearly directed elsewhere. A light kiss landed on my eye, gentle as falling snow. He looked as if he had made a major decision. "Be my fiancé. I won't let you suffer anymore." Did this mean he fully accepted me? I was secretly delighted. Selling a sob story works best when you sell it to the right person. That night, Nana called me to ask how things were going with Lucian. I told her mysteriously, "Great. That thug won't be jumping around much longer. Didn't he like abusing his power? Mess with the woman of a New York prince, and let's see if you don't end up totally screwed." Just as expected. Within half a month, that thug was in jail. His little gang fell apart and could no longer threaten us. I still wasn't fully reassured and wanted to bring Nana to the city. Nana rambled on the phone, "I'm just an old lady, I won't disturb you young people building your relationship. The Sterling family didn't contact me those first few days, I thought you two didn't hit it off." Her tone turned proud. But of course, how could anyone not like my Harper? I suppressed my tears, knowing Nana didn't want to be a burden to me in the city. I secretly resolved that once we were married, would bring her here. At that point, no matter how much she refused, I wouldn't listen. After hanging up, I went to choose rings. It was strange, though. Whenever I brought up seeing his grandparents, Lucian always used various excuses to dodge it. This made me uneasy. Thinking it over, could the astrological compatibility be the issue? But I remembered clearly that Lucian and I had our charts compared when we were kids, that's why the engagement was set. Did charts change as you grew up? Or was this just an excuse because they didn't want me marrying in? I couldn't really complain. Although astrology is superstition, so are arranged child marriages. If they really wanted to use that against me, I had no countermove. Fortunately, Lucian's affection for me wasn't fake. Here he was, taking me to choose rings. Whatever happens, happens. We measured our sizes and roughly agreed on a custom design. Lucian, eyes full of tenderness, put his arm around me as we walked out. Just as we exited, we bumped into Lucien. The girl next to him looked pure and innocent, leaning against his chest like a little bird. I looked at them curiously. Was this Lucien's fiancé? Come to think of it, Lucian hadn't seemed to bring him along to any gatherings lately. Seeing us, Lucien's eyes shifted evasively. Lucian, here for rings? When's the wedding? Lucian gave a lukewarm response. We'll send you an invitation when the time comes. After speaking, he didn't seem to want to spare him even a glance. Blocking Lucien's gaze, which was subtly drifting toward me, he stepped forward to leave. Miss Ford. The clerk who had just served us called out. Is this your bracelet? I realized my wrist felt light. It is, thank you. To the side, Lucien looked stunned, as if realizing something. He muttered, sister-in-law's last name is Ford too? Lucian's eyes looked murderous. His face darkened, and he spoke word by word. None of your business. I had never seen Lucian this angry before. His sharp, arrogant brows looked like he was ready to pull out a gun and execute someone. I realized what was happening. The outfit and style of the girl next to Lucien, wasn't that exactly how I looked the first time I met them? No wonder Lucian was mad. I'd heard Lucien competed with him over everything. Who knew he'd even find a partner of the same type to compete? That was just low. I wanted to comfort Lucien. I only regretted not having the power of a CEO in a novel to say, the weather is getting cold, it's time for the Lucien family to go bankrupt. After holding it in, I squeezed out a sentence, don't be mad, I'm prettier than his girlfriend. This Lucien guy compared everything and won nothing. Lucian's expression relaxed, and he kissed me hard. You don't need to compare yourself to her. That's not Lucien's girlfriend. Lucian looked disdainful. Saying it out loud would dirty your ears. I understood and blurted out, I get it, she's his side piece. I heard that in their circle, that's what they call them. Lucian's face cleared up completely, and he even laughed out loud. Putting it that way isn't wrong. Anyway, that kid is a dirty man, a rotten cabbage with no self-respect. Lucian's voice dropped lower. I'm much cleaner than him. I didn't understand. Why did Lucian need to compare himself to Lucien? If Lucian was a 100 out of 100 in my heart, Lucien was a negative score drilling through the earth. Whoever married that man would have 8 lifetimes of bad luck. While my thoughts wandered, Lucian's kiss deepened. He gasped and asked me, babe, can we? I lost my previous nervousness and just felt shy. We'd ordered wedding rings, doing this should be fine, right? Then I thought again. I was taking this arranged marriage thing too seriously. In modern society, consenting adults sleep together all the time. I left a bite mark on his collarbone and nodded. In the haze of the moment, I heard Lucian swearing an oath. I'm sorry, babe, I love you. If I ever fail you in this life, let me die a horrible death. I quickly covered his mouth. What a wild prince. I know you're sincere. But saying stuff like that right now is scary, okay? Almost killed the mood. Sheesh. After our deep communication, Lucian finally took me to meet his family. Amidst my excitement, I was inevitably nervous. I tried on clothes repeatedly, finally deciding on a bright red dress. Nana told me that in the photo she showed Lucian's grandmother, I was wearing red. Red, dignified, festive, old people love it. Lucian hugged me from behind. In the mirror, I fit perfectly in his arms. He buried his face in my neck, hiding his expression. First time seeing you wear something so bright, babe. I pursed my lips lightly. Did he not like this style? But I used to love wearing bright colors. Before my family went broke, they called me the flower of wealth. But rumor had it the crown prince only liked the innocent white flower look. So lately, I'd been dressing very plain. Suddenly, the insult from that thug rang in my head. He said dressing this brightly was trashy, that I was trying to seduce him. I felt like I'd been burned and said in a panic, "If it doesn't look good, I'll change." Lucian took a deep breath, lifting eyes full of awe. "Who said it doesn't look good? It's too good." Lucian was acting like a cat on catnip, nuzzling me constantly. "Babe, why do I feel like I love you more every day?" Because of Lucian's distraction, we almost arrived late. Walking into the estate, my nervousness vanished. I was probably just puffed up from Lucian's flattery. Lucian's family seemed to take this meeting very seriously. There were so many people, truly a big clan. I looked up and immediately saw the old lady surrounded in the center. That must be Grandma Sterling. She looked kind and benevolent, exactly like a wonderful person. She held my hand, praising me repeatedly, "Such a lovely girl. No wonder our little Lucian likes you. Even I can't stop looking at you, I'm so satisfied." I was very grateful to Grandma Sterling. If she hadn't liked me, I wouldn't have had this fate with Lucian. Feeling an immediate closeness, I smiled and said, "Grandma, thank you for setting me and Lucian up. I will definitely treat him well in the future." As soon as I said this, the whole room went silent. Grandma Sterling's expression froze too. But a second later, she continued smiling. "Good, good, that's good." The stagnation in the room seemed to vanish as if it never happened. Everyone rushed up with congratulations about match made in heaven and 100 years of harmony. In a corner I couldn't see, Lucian was quietly called away. By the time I finished chatting with the enthusiastic relatives, Lucian returned to my side. "Everyone has met her. She is my chosen fiancé. It's getting late, we won't stay the night." After saying goodbye to the elders, he held my hand and walked out. Lucian acted no differently than usual, only walking slightly slower. I was chattering away, telling him how much everyone seemed to like me. In the heat of the moment, seeing Lucian walking sluggishly behind me, I gave him a gentle tug. He stumbled and couldn't help sucking in a breath of cold air. I froze. Even though Lucian kept comforting me, saying he was punished for doing something reckless outside, why did the punishment have to be on the day we met the family? I felt like a bucket of ice water had been dumped on me. My earlier feeling that his family liked me now seemed like a joke. And seeing Lucian punished made my heart ache terribly. How lucky was I to meet such a good fiancé? It was like pulling a hidden rare item from a blind box. I couldn't bear to lose him. Even if his family didn't think highly of us, as long as they didn't explicitly refuse, there was hope. That night, I clung to Lucian and wouldn't let him use protection. In the standoff, I asked him with a crying tone, "Are you not sincere about marrying me?" Lucian got anxious. "Babe, I am absolutely sincere about you." I replied righteously, "In that case, it's going to happen sooner or later anyway." Finally, Lucian couldn't out-stubborn me and listened to me. But after that, he'd rather abstain than do it without protection again. My thinking was simple. Old people love children. Maybe if I was pregnant, they would accept me more. Weeks later, looking at the test report, a smile appeared on my face. Luck favored me again. It worked on the first try. I couldn't wait to tell Lucian the news in person. But unexpectedly, I ran into an uninvited guest at the door. Lucian blocked my way, his expression a mix of triumph and contempt. He said angrily, "Harper Ford, you clearly have a childhood engagement to me, so why are you messing around with him?" If I hadn't heard people saying Lucian's fiancé was named Harper Ford a few days ago, how long were you going to hide it from me? I froze on the spot, confused. Lucian sneered, "I thought you were just a village girl, didn't expect you to have such big ambition. You looked down on even me and picked the best one right off the bat." He was full of malice. "I just wonder, if he knew you had an engagement with me, would he still want you?" He had the engagement with me? I took a deep breath. The joy of pregnancy vanished instantly. I took out the photo to confront him. "Is this photo you?" Lucian pointed to the middle and shouted, "Are you blind? Is that not me?" Only then did I see the unremarkable Lucien. I also realized belatedly, who sends a group photo showing a side profile for a matchmaking setup. It was all because Lucien shined too brightly. Lucien looked triumphant. All right, I know you're unwilling. But my family's conditions aren't bad. I can overlook the thing with you and Lucien. I said coldly, that day, you were the one who didn't come to the airport to pick me up. I discovered that in front of Lucien, I couldn't play the innocent damsel at all. His face flushed red, completely triggered. I'm generous enough not to hold your promiscuity against you, and you're lecturing me? Do you think you're still the sister-in-law? I'm going to tell Lucien right now, and you'll be kicked out immediately. If it weren't for your pretty face, I wouldn't even look at you. Ultimately, I didn't want to blow things up. I closed my eyes wearily. Fine. I'll contact you later. Lucien smiled. Good, you know to be afraid. He tried to touch my hand but grabbed only air. Dark-faced, he said, hurry up. I'll come pick you up tonight. I walked back to the villa like a wandering ghost. The report in my hand was crumpled into a ball. My brain was filled with too many questions. Did Lucien know I got the wrong person? What should I do now that I'm pregnant? Where do I go from here? Finally, all these questions turned into a sentence of regret. Lucien is not my fiancé. No wonder his family didn't approve of me. I wasn't that lucky after all, such a good man didn't belong to me. If I hadn't met Lucien first, maybe I could have barely tolerated Lucien. After all, he looked passable, and his family did have power. At least he could have handled that thug for me. But now, it was different. I couldn't face Lucien, and I absolutely didn't want to choose Lucien. I didn't want to be the person with 8 lifetimes of bad luck. If I can't afford to offend them, I'll run. I packed my luggage, taking only the things I brought from home, and boarded a plane back to my hometown. Before going to the city, I was full of ambition, determined to bag the crown prince. Coming back, it seemed nothing had changed, except my ambition had turned into an unformed embryo. I looked at Nana, who had just returned from buying breakfast, and said pitifully, Nana, I missed you so much. Then I cried my eyes out in her arms. For the first few days back, I was listless and couldn't work up the energy for anything. Later, I figured it out. It wasn't a total loss. At least the thug was dealt with, and life would be peaceful from now on. Lying on Nana's lap, I told her everything I experienced in New York over those months. After listening, she broke down in tears. It's Nana who failed you. The Sterling family is truly not a good match. If they look down on my Harper, why call you over there? I went to the city because of Lucien. Lucien didn't want me, and by a twist of fate, I met Lucien. I didn't regret the time spent with Lucien. I just felt sorry for the baby in my belly. I touched my still flat stomach and whispered an apology. Nana, I've decided to terminate the pregnancy. From now on, we'll live a quiet, steady life. Nana held my hand tightly. Regardless of what happened, having family by my side was already extremely lucky. The appointment for the procedure was set. I opened the door, only to see someone completely unexpected. Dewdrops clung to his hair, he looked like he had been standing outside for a long time. Lucien gazed at me, wanting to step forward but stopping. Babe, why did you leave without saying a word? Nana scrutinized him. Lucien finally stepped forward and respectfully supported Nana's hand. Hello Nana, I'm Harper's fiancé. I've come to take you to New York to attend my wedding with Harper. I turned my face away. Lucien, you don't have to do this. I already know I mistook you for someone else. Lucien looked at me pleadingly. Nana, can I speak with Harper alone? Sensing my struggle, Nana sighed. I can't control the affairs of you young people anymore. As soon as Nana left, Lucien stepped forward and hugged me tightly. Babe, I knew early on that you mistook me. I can explain everything. Lucien really knew how to focus on the key points. If he had just said I miss you, I love you, I might have hardened my heart and cut him off to end it. But he said he knew I got the wrong person. My prepared reactions were all overturned. Then why did you still take me to get rings and meet your family? Lucian smiled bitterly. I thought I made it clear to you, babe. I fell in love with you at first sight. It has nothing to do with who you are. But I thought everything he did was based on our arranged marriage. Seeing my attitude soften, Lucian's tone became even more cautious. It's right for you to be mad at me. I hid it from you for so long and selfishly slept with you. You can hit me or scold me, but please, don't leave without a word next time, okay? I looked up and saw his eyes were full of red veins. He hadn't slept well for days. My heart softened further, but I still didn't want to let him off the hook verbally. Why did you think that because of the arranged marriage I would choose him over you? Why was this man always so insecure in front of me? Show some of that New York Prince swagger, okay? Lucian gave a wry smile. Even if there was a 1 in 10,000 chance, I didn't want to gamble. My heart completely collapsed. Why did Lucian always say things that made my heart flutter so much? I couldn't wait to hug him back, but I had one last question. So, that day, did you mistake me for someone else too? If I had stolen someone else's fate, I'd rather not have it. Lucian admitted frankly, yes. The family introduced me to a Miss Ward, as in hospital ward. But she had someone she liked, so she didn't come to the airport that day. More importantly, if it were anyone else, would have just politely dropped them off. Because it was you, everything else followed. My heart full of joy couldn't be suppressed anymore. I opened my arms and hugged Lucian tightly. Me too. Because it was you, I was willing to do all those things. After experiencing Lucian, imagining if I had met Lucian first, I felt vaguely nauseous. That kind of rotten cabbage? Too dirty. With everything out in the open, Lucian and I went back to being sweet and sticky. He asked with concern, "Where were you and Nana going just now?" "I drove here, I can take you." Instantly, I felt guilty and got a headache. I was going to cancel an abortion appointment. After returning from my hometown, Lucian was legitimately a little angry with me. So, if I had arrived just a little later, you would have gotten rid of our child? I really lacked the confidence to argue. After all, getting pregnant was my own idea, and so was the abortion. Talking about it, Lucian felt hurt again. "Babe, I hope you can trust me a little more." So Lucian sulked while carefully taking care of me. Essentially, giving me the cold shoulder while washing my underwear. After returning to the city, his pent-up anger finally found an outlet. Time to settle the score with Lucian. "I stole your fiancé? Why go take it out on Harper? What kind of man are you?" Lucian said hatefully, "I didn't want that engagement first. You just picked up something I threw away." Lucian, I won this time. Enduring the humiliation back then was just a stalling tactic. Now that my heart wasn't panicking, naturally, I had to clap back. Did you not want it, or could you not get it? Are you not handsome because you didn't want to be? Are you not smart because you didn't want to be? Are you not the world's richest man because you didn't want to be? Lucian froze. I switched gears. But I really didn't want you. Who asked me to have Lucian? The Lucian who beats you in every single way. Why reason with a villain? You just have to be aggressively sarcastic. Lucian nearly passed out from anger. He couldn't even speak properly. Lucian delivered the final blow at the perfect moment. "By the way, you don't need to attend my wedding with Harper. You must be too bored, causing trouble everywhere. I asked Uncle to arrange a job for you. You're going to manage the subsidiary in Africa." Lucian raged impotently, "You pair of adulterers." The wedding had actually been in preparation all along. Although the bride almost ran away, fortunately, it was just a scare. My only worry was the attitude of Lucian's family. Lucian told me that he had actually told his family all along that I was tricked into coming by him. Since he hadn't had a girlfriend since childhood, his family was so happy he was finally normal that they didn't care if he was a bit of a scoundrel about it. No wonder his family was weirdly enthusiastic that day. However, the fact that I was Lucien's fiancé was something Lucien's father only found out that day. He immediately flew into a rage and used the family discipline rod on him. I felt bad for him, but also felt he deserved it. If he had said it earlier, our relationship would have had fewer twists and turns. But maybe because of this, we made it to the end. You didn't say, I didn't ask. A comedy of errors, but a match made in heaven. Epilogue. Lucien's POV. Came to the airport to pick up a blind date, fell in love at first sight with a girl. My brain did 800 calculations a second. Looked chill on the outside, actually thinking, I'm screwed, I suck at flirting. But she seemed to be walking toward me. What does that mean? Is she my fiancé? I was floating, unaware of heaven and earth. By the time I sobered up, we were holding hands. I was floating again. My fiancé talked to me. Do you remember when we played as kids? Great. I memorized this trope. The internet is truly useful. Believer prays, I will memorize tropes daily, just let me and my fiancé be sweet and last forever. Since I've already decided on my fiancé, it's time for the boys to meet their sister-in-law. She was startled when she walked in. So fragile, so cute, makes my heart ache. What is up with Lucien? Usually, I let his petty tricks slide. Why is he staring at my fiancé? Doesn't he have his own? And he scared her. Death wish. Beat him up. Seemed to scare her again. So fragile, so cute. She asked why I was so good to her. I told her I fell in love at first sight. Sincerity is the ultimate weapon, right? Right? It has to be right. Took my fiancé back to my villa. Picked my favorite one on purpose. Got her WeChat. Heard the boys call their girlfriends babe. After saving the name, I suddenly felt shy. So I fled. I really like my babe. But, my babe doesn't seem to be my blind date. Found out. Babe is actually Lucien's childhood fiancé. The one he despised. I was angry and heartbroken. Hearing her story, I felt even worse. I don't want to let go. Lucien doesn't deserve her. Before Lucien finds out, I need to marry Babe ASAP. So unlucky, ran into him just buying rings. That unself-loving rotten cabbage, how long has it been and he has another girl? And copying Babe's style? Who is he trying to disgust? I didn't want to give him any attention. Wouldn't be good if Babe noticed him. But when he asked that question, I couldn't help but get angry. Hidden deep down was panic. I won't let him take Babe away. Was really angry, but Babe is too cute. Luckily I stayed up late memorizing tropes. I understood her side piece comment. How can she be so humorous and cute? Remembered her whispering earlier, asking if people call me the crown prince. Too cute. What kind of image do we have in her eyes? Cute enough that I want to eat her up. Or she can eat me, I'm a clean, high-quality cabbage. I got eaten. I, the crown prince, swear I won't fail my babe in this life. Oh my God, I can barely breathe. Why is Babe so blindingly bright and red? If she wore this the first time I saw her, I absolutely wouldn't have been that reserved. I would have rushed up and applied to be her dog immediately. So beautiful, so fragrant, sniff sniff sniff. Delicious. Went back to the estate and got beaten. Originally felt a bit guilty, the beating evaporated that. Passed the parents' test. Can marry my babe soon. Gotta fight and steal to get a wife. Hee hee. Came home and Babe was gone. Cold sweat instantly poured down. Was she kidnapped? Clothes were missing from the closet. But the ones I bought for her were left behind. I didn't dare think of the worst outcome. Babe found out I lied to her. She doesn't want me anymore. It really was that bastard Lucien causing trouble. Obviously, Babe chose to leave me, but she didn't choose him either. I'll deal with him when I get back. Babe must have gone back to her hometown. She's a filial and soft-hearted girl. Please, Babe, be soft-hearted toward me too. Kind Babe. It was clearly all my fault. She forgave me after just a little coaxing. I'm just relying on the fact that she likes me. I'm such a beast. Now I can finally treat Babe well forever. I'll spend my whole life making it up to her. Wait. Cancel an abortion? What does that mean? Babe was pregnant with my child and almost aborted it? After processing that sentence, I almost died on the spot. So angry, so heartbroken, so angry. But I can't blame Babe. She just lacked security. It's all Lucien's fault. Go mine diamonds in Africa, stop being an eyesore. Original plan was to invite him to the wedding to show off. But now, no need for bystanders. I'm happy enough. Finally. Married the Babe I fell for at first sight. We got the wrong people, but we're the right pair.